Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Olivia Gamer podcast. And today I am beyond thrilled to have a special guest, Victoria Perez de Agreda. And Victoria is a growth executive. She's a mother, she's a cheese lover, a world traveler, and she's really evolved her career rapidly in the last few months. And I've had a front row seat with this, getting to work with her through my company Career Evolved. And she's become really just a shining star in our community. And she uplifts so many of us every week. And I just wanted to bring her on the podcast to let you guys in on the conversations that we have every week on really how to evolve, how you're thinking about your career and what's possible, and break out of the boxes and limitations that you have in your mind to start to create more impact and income potential and freedom in your life. So, Victoria, thank you so much for joining. It's so exciting to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I am beyond excited. I am your biggest fan and so thankful to have found the Career Evolved community which has allowed me to change my life.
Absolutely. I want to kind of go back to the beginning of your career evolution, this journey that just started. Where was your head at, and what was your mindset coming into this journey, and where is it now?
When I decided to invest in myself and put myself first and go on an executive coaching journey, I knew that I was looking for something, but I didn't know exactly what. So my state of mind was really to pause and take a moment to step out of the rat race and really just slow down and be intentional with my next career move instead of trying to go as fast as possible and just pick any opportunity that came my way. Now my vision is one of limitless opportunities, and I am the driver in all of those decisions and making those opportunities happen for myself. So I've gone from being a passive, driver of my career to extreme accountability and ownership to make stuff happen for myself.
And I don't know if you know just how rare that is, because it's so tough out there in this job market. You hear it all the time, like it's just so hard. And, those old beliefs that the masses have subscribed to are, you're lucky to have a job, don't think too big. And so I'd love to hear when you say things like, now I believe my career is limitless, and really saying these almost like outlandish visions, how do you kind of keep yourself in check from, am I crazy? Is this real? Like, can I be limitless, or do I need to be practical? Like, how do you balance those two parts of practicality and having this like limitless vision?
That's a super important question because we all have financial needs. We all need to pay bills. I have 2 kids that are toddlers. We have limitations in terms of our bandwidth and in how much time we can spend, doing any allotted thing every day. So for me, being realistic and trying to get the most out of every moment that I have to dedicate to my career growth journey was paramount from the beginning, right? So nowadays, and myself included, I was in that also kind of job search black hole, trying to figure out if I was going to be applying. Was I updating my resume? Was I going to be going on job boards? And I was tempted to do that, right? But I felt like at this point in my career, I almost needed to reignite with my passion and my excitement for problems that I want to solve. And I really wanted to tap into that genuine joy of working and not have it be such a drag, because I need a lot of energy to raise my children and to, do other things that I want to do in my life. So it was almost out of necessity of that practicality of, I need to make this happen for myself and I need to be as efficient as possible with the little time that I have, that I decided to not beat around the bush and really just be like, all right, what you've done up until now is not going to get you where you want to go. You're an executive now. The job market is different. You need to look for help. And understanding that I don't have to do it all alone. And I think that a lot of people suffer in silence and really just get stuck in that habit of being like, oh, I'm okay, not admitting that your confidence is taking a toll and you're not exactly sure how to communicate your value. And in my case, I have always really been underpaid because I didn't value myself and I didn't ask for what I deserve. So that's on me, right? I can't wait for somebody to hand me what they think I'm worth. I need to be able to own it, live and breathe it, and advocate for myself. So I'm being practical in the sense that I need cash flow. I need abundance of income for my family and things that I want to do in my life. So I'm not only going to try one strategy, I'm going to have a multi-prong approach to really being able to add value with the skills that I have and the things that I'm excited to solve. And that's where the octopus approach to my career was born.
And we're going to get to that octopus in a minute, but there's something you said that I really want to dive a little bit deeper first, because it's such a simple yet profound concept, right? Own your value, know your value, and own it, right? Because so you get what you're willing to accept. And I think that, part of what makes me so passionate is helping people become more conscious of their career decisions and what are you accepting and why, right? And is there fear underneath that, or deep down a belief that that's as good as it gets for you? And so I'd love to hear, like, how is that self-worth journey and really owning your value and really staying committed to that looked for you?
I was where most people might be right now, and many of the listeners today. I was feeling undervalued, like I had more of an off burner role, pigeonholed, like nobody got me or my skills. And quite frankly, I didn't get them myself, right? And I was always trying to make my experience fit into roles versus looking at all of the amazing things that make me unique and really trying to package myself with everything I bring to the table instead of trying to be like bite-sized. Well, let's not overwhelm people with the amount of awesomeness that I can bring to the table, right? Let's just like really reel it in and like, no, that might be inappropriate or that's not the best way to sell yourself, right? So how did I go from being there to where I am today? It's through the amazing Career Evolve process. It was identifying my self-limiting beliefs. And that was an aha moment for me. It was like, oh, that little voice inside of my head has a name. It's called a self-limiting belief. And oh, I can make it go away. How do I make it go away? By acknowledging that it's there, telling it it's wrong, and then replacing it with a new belief. And one of my self-limiting beliefs that many people might resonate with was I felt like I'm too young to be an executive. What is an executive? I don't know, but that's not me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, all right, well, there are CEOs who are in their 20s and I'm in my mid 30s and I'm older than that. And like, what a silly reasoning anyway. Why should it have to do with age and not with the value that you bring? And so then I replaced it with a new belief, which is I am a badass and I have a lot to offer. So I am an executive. I've decided today's the day. I'm an executive posted it on my LinkedIn. It was like a little rite of passage, and voila. So it's as simple as that, right? It's really how you see yourself and the little mental box that we all have created for ourselves. And I've lived in those boxes for over 35 years now, but now there are no boxes anymore.
And this is what I mean by the rapid career evolution, because I've been watching you and had a front row seat to your growth, and just seeing how you understand the power of your self concept and your self image, and how you see yourself and the stories you tell about yourself is what you're projecting out. And that's ultimately your brand and what you're attracting. It's your energy, it's everything, it's your presence, it's the message you're sending, and so the language you're using. And so as I've seen you quickly evolve that, almost like every month you're taking it to another level and to new heights, and it's just been so exciting to see that. And now you've got this octopus that we're going to get to, the mysterious octopus. So tell me about the octopus. Like, what is that? Because your career has evolved, and you're a very multifaceted human and professional. I mean, you're fluent in 5 languages. You've been all over the world. You've done a lot. You've made a huge impact at companies. It's so tough to put someone like you in a box. And I could not relate any more to this as a multifaceted professional as well. So I'd love to hear, what does the octopus mean to you, and how has that helped you to categorize yourself for your career?
I was super excited to share this story with everyone because it's actually quite a recent revelation that came maybe 2 weeks ago or so. So I had already been on this journey through the executive coaching program, Career Evolved, and, kind of the catalyst was meeting you and your methodology. And it was 5 months later or so where suddenly I was like, okay, how can I radically change the way I think about my career? I've always had like one employer, W-2 job. Most of the people in my network, and, family and friends also have that type of employment. So I wasn't really in tune with other ways of making a living. And seeing your story as a CEO and a founder and a business owner, it was like, well, there's one other example, right? And then meeting other people in the Career Evolved executive community of like, oh, well, that person's a consultant. Well, that person's a speaker and gets paid to be a speaker. It's like, I'm a speaker. I've spoken, at different events and conferences. I host webinars. I enjoy that. Oh, well, that's another, potential tentacle of the octopus. And so suddenly I realized that it doesn't have to be one thing and one way, right? If you're open to different ways to apply your skills and add value to companies, organizations, or even individuals, depending the industry that you're in, there's so many different ways that you can do that. And so through opening my mind, I started picking up on different content that I saw on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. Suddenly I'm seeing, speaker here, book author here. You also launched your book when I joined the program, probably a couple of weeks in. And I was like, she wrote a book. That's cool. Maybe I should write a book. And suddenly seeing these new opportunities for myself that I don't have to be a full-time author and a writer and only write books. I don't have to be only a speaker. I don't have to only work at one company. I can do lots of different things and I can do them at the same time, right? And so I suddenly was like, my spirit animal is the octopus. That is my new approach to my career. So I'm going to dabble in some consulting. I'm going to dabble in some speaking engagements. I'm, suddenly seeing like, well, you can buy a business. You can start a business. You can come in as a C-level executive and help run a business. There's so many different ways to get involved. And none of those depend on somebody else saying yes to you. You have to say yes to yourself and actually want to go and pursue that. And so I'm all about extreme ownership and not making excuses for myself anymore of waiting for somebody to tell me that I'm worth so much money or tap me on the shoulder for a promotion. I've been that woman who was like, oh, somebody else got promoted and not me. But did I ask for the promotion? No. Did I ask for the raise? No. And so if you don't ask, you won't get, right? And so I'm really excited to share this octopus concept with everyone because hopefully it'll inspire you to think like, oh, well, what is it that I can do? You know, we all know about maybe volunteering and like giving back, but you can do that in many different ways and also get compensated for that as well.
I love this because I think that people are so scared to go down this whole new path and go all in, and they don't know if they like it, but they're intrigued, they're excited, and they're just, I think people are afraid to be seen trying something new and failing and falling flat on your face. And so what I love about this octopus concept is it's allowing you to spread your fingers in a bunch of pots, right? And test the waters and follow the energy, because I think as a creative who also gets results, if I had to just do one thing, we would be deeply unhappy and unfulfilled because it's just not the nature of our identity. And then we would only get to express one part of that. And so for me, I've constantly got the advice, just do this one thing and one thing. And I was like, I can't, my soul will not allow for it. I need to have other ways and outlets to create and express and to add value, regardless of if that's going to be the one big thing. And so I think if people can allow themselves to explore and to even dream and think outside the box, although it's scary, it creates some energy and a spark of inspiration and motivation to bring even more energy to that main thing, because you're not just stagnant and feeling like you flatlined out. And I think those are the biggest energy drains in our careers, when you just feel like you're stuck in the same spot year after year. So my next question.
100%. And
Yeah, go ahead.
and I've been there. Oh, no. And I've been there, right? And it's a choice to not be there anymore. And once you decide that it's your choice and that there is another way and that you don't have to do it alone and you don't have to have all the answers, right? You can tap into a community and find support that will guide you and inspire you. And having those glimpses of excitement that you see in other people will then ignite you to be like, darn, I can feel that way too. I can get inspired again. So even if you don't feel that way now, you know, to our listeners, look for that spark, you know, keep your eyes open and then pursue that and get curious on where that might take you.
I love that you just said that, you know, you don't have to do it alone. And I think the high achiever that's listening to this, they're used to typically being the one to give the advice and having all the answers and being the strong one. And I think my career really broke open when I really learned how to get vulnerable and realize that it's not all me. And I stopped trying to figure out how to do something and instead ask, who can I connect to that can offer that insight, that guidance? And guys, that's the fast track to your career, is stop trying to do it alone. Stop trying to figure it out, because you're not going to figure it out. You've never done it. It's a new path. It's a new journey. And the more people can lean into that vulnerability, which I know you're really good at, just being real and authentic and putting the facade aside and saying, hey, I want to learn from you. I mean, that takes courage to put yourself out there like that. So, you know, what would you say to those people that are listening and they're like, yeah, well, I don't have these connections. I don't have that support system. How have you been able to cultivate that to get you onto this new path?
Vulnerability is key, right? Because your vulnerability inspires others. So we all have communities around us and people that we know that look up to us or that are our peers or even that we look up to ourselves, right? And so even just by opening up to just one person that you already know and saying, listen, I'm kind of lost. I'm not excited anymore. I don't really know where I want to go. And I know that I want to do something about it. Have you ever felt that way? Right. So, regardless if now is the right time for you to invest in executive coaching for yourself and put yourself first, you can always decide to reach out to somebody that you know. And likelihood is that they've gone through something similar and might be able to lend an ear and help you process and talk through how you're feeling and offer some suggestions and advice. Because in the end, when you open up to other people, then they open up to you back, right? And it's very tempting to be like, oh, I'm all good. I'm all good. How's everything going? Great. But actually, you're not all good. Right. And so do yourself the favor and don't let it get to the point where you're depressed and are really just lost and not motivated at all, and catch yourself sooner and say, all right, this is starting to not feel great. I don't know what to do about it and I don't know where to go. I need some support and guidance on my career and a next step. And we're so lucky that we live in a world where there are amazing solutions at our fingertips that we can tap into with a very quick search engine search, or by typing a keyword, in LinkedIn or any other platform. So there's almost like no excuses that we can set for ourselves, or those excuses aren't valid, rather. And so we just need to get out of our own heads and say, all right, I'm struggling with this and I need some help. And that's what I did. And it was the best decision that I ever made. And I am 100% committed to helping other people and really being supportive and offering that mentorship and encouragement, because I've been there and we've all been there at one point in our careers. And having that one person that made the difference, that listened because we opened up to them, is such an amazing first step to finding that excitement and inspiration again.
Yeah, I love that. Vulnerability is the key to real authentic connection. And I think that honestly, it's so rare for people to lead with vulnerability, especially in the corporate work world, right? Because everybody wants to feel buttoned up and like they've got it all together. And it takes that courage and that first step to ask for support or to seek guidance. And it's so powerful when you do, because you open up so many doors to true connection, and people love to help. I don't think people realize that people love to they're like leaders like you. They want to give back, they want to connect, they want to mentor. It fulfills you to get to serve in that way. So I know we're running on time. So I did have one last question. You said something earlier about like just not feeling seen, not feeling like you were really being seen for all the value that you bring to the table, and you were kind of being put in a box. Like, as somebody's listening here, they just don't feel seen. They don't feel like they're recognized or heard in their work environment. They know they're destined for so much more, but they just feel stuck. What would you say to them?
The first step is to see it yourself, because you're not going to be able to paint the picture to somebody else and really show them how you can help them if you're not even aware of your superpowers yourself, right? And I was lucky enough to get some great advice from some mentors, and they shared with me, your superpower is to make something out of nothing. And I didn't really understand it at first, and I hadn't really seen myself in that way. But somebody else saying to me, listen, you have a gift. I work in the startup world, and startups make something out of nothing. There was no business, and then there's a business. There was no tech, and suddenly there's a tech, right? So you build it. And the same with marketing and sales. You build teams, you build energy, you build excitement, you build products, right? So building takes that commitment and that energy, right? So if you feel like you're in a box, first you have to build yourself a bigger space for you to even see what your possibilities are. And honestly, there, you can even start by asking someone that you know, what do you think are my biggest qualities? Because sometimes we don't see it ourselves, right? And that's the value of coaching and mentoring, is having somebody else to shed a light on something that you don't see yet yourself, right? And so I really encourage everybody to, just ask somebody today, what's great about me? What do you love about working with me? Right. And then you can share what's great about working with them. And that way, together as a community of professionals, we can start to fill each other's cups and really start to see the value that we bring. And of course, I would recommend coaching to anyone. It has completely transformed my life, and having a proven process and system that has a method and a strategy to it that is just going to exponentially allow you to open up those boxes, break down those doors and those walls that we all have put up in our minds, and start to dream bigger and bigger and bigger and amplify that vision, right? And as soon as you do that, you're going to start to attract other people who are also in that space and frame of mind. And that's where even the executive community that Career Evolved has, really opened my eyes to all of these other amazing professionals that I would not have met otherwise, able to really support each other and bounce ideas off of each other. And therefore, you continue to grow and break down those barriers. So you just have to start and then get excited and commit to the journey, and you're going to get there.
I love it. Yep. The committed always find a way. And I think that that's a great place to end it. And so anyone that wants to take that next step and see if Career Evolved can help you, definitely go to careerevolved.com. We'll put the link in the show notes if you want to book a call with our team to just go deeper on your situation and just determine if we can even help. We're not for everyone. You got to be ready for the mental transformation to get this breakthrough. It is 80% mindset, as Victoria has shared. It's playing at those higher levels is not about resumes and LinkedIn profiles. It's about how you're showing up, your ability to stand in your value and demonstrate that value and really command that value. So thank you so much for your time. And if anyone wants to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
I have LinkedIn. There's only one of me, Victoria Perez de Agreda. Look me up. We can also share the link in the show notes as well. Please feel free to reach out, check out my profile, and hopefully it'll inspire you to take some action. And if you need a friendly face to talk to, I'm always happy to share my time with you as well.
Thank you. You're so gracious and generous. We appreciate having you in the community, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Olivia, and congrats again on the amazing community that you've built.
Thank you.